Hi all, this is Once a Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last week we answered the question of whether or not I could beat Pokemon Black with just a single Swinub, and that was absolutely brutal towards the end of the game. Check out that video. Today though, we're using another Gen 2 Pokemon as we asked the question of whether or not I can beat Pokemon Silver with a single Ledyba. Now then, Ledyba. It's better than the Swinub we used last week, though not by much. We're bug and flying type, we've got a 265 base stat total. That special defense is awesome for an early game Pokemon. Our speed is passable. Everything else though is pretty bad. 265 is the same base stat total as Diglett, Hatena, Impidimp and Pikipek. We're weak to flying, fire, electric, ice and double weak to rock. We're immune to ground and we resist bug, fighting and grass, a double resistance to those last two. Move wise, we are a bug and flying type that gets no stab moves via level up. Most of our attacking moves we get via level up are pretty underwhelming. Comet Punch is trash. Double Edge has a well known flaw, so that'd probably make Swift most useful, which we don't get until level 36. At least via TM we do get some coverage with Rollout, Giga Drain, Solar Beam, Dig, Ice and Thunder Punch and Thief. Predictions. The Flying Gym shouldn't be an issue despite us having a weakness to that type. I think Whitney's Miltank pounding us with a 4x super effective rollout will be a massive wall. The Ice Gym could be awkward. I can see us struggling versus Jasmine and her Steelix too. Even with Ice Punch, I can see Lance causing us quite a bit of a struggle with his Charizard and Aerodactyl. I think at the end we will struggle to beat Red even at max level. Just the rules then. In combat, I can only use Ledyba. Other Pokemon will be needed for HMs but unable to fight. Only held items and Pokeballs in combat, and last of all, no glitches or exploits. If you do enjoy what you see, like, subscribe and ring the clear bell. This challenge was suggested by StillGen16 on my Discord. If you do have any suggestions for challenges, links are in the description. Using the Universal Pokemon Randomizer, I replaced Chikorita with Ledyba, so that I can do the whole run with this Ladybird Pokemon. This will give the rival Cyndaquil, which will be the hardest for us to fight, as it is a type super effective versus us. So many choices with the nickname, but I eventually go with Book. Ladybird Books is the name of a publishing company in my country who make children's books. The technical name for this species, IRL, is Coccinelle D, but not a chance I'm naming my Pokemon that. Largely because I don't want to have to re-record the audio half a dozen times whenever I trip over the name. Wikipedia is great, isn't it, for random information? The grind at the start is a bit rough as we are pretty frail as we fight Hoothoot, birds being the natural enemies of bugs, and Rattata, but eventually we get our way towards the first rival fight. His Cyndaquil doesn't know any fire moves here, which is a relief, but given our special defence, we could probably tank a fire blow quite well in theory, which is all well and good in theory, but it goes out of the window when our Ledyba is on fire, I guess. Anyway, I fire a supersonic at it, but as is the case when the player uses confusion techniques, the enemy fights through them every single turn and Cyndaquil hits us with a flurry of tackles. But in a creative display of tactical nous, I also hit it with a bunch of tackles and we take it down. Great stuff. Mind you, something has just occurred to me and it's going to be a massive issue with the next rival fight. I do a bit of training on the Sages in Bellsprout Tower. We do quad resist grass moves, so it's a pretty good place for it. I don't think we'll have much issue with either of the first two gyms. Faulkner is pretty weak, and when it comes to Bugsy, we do resist his stab type, but we will need to be stronger for later in the game for sure. Anyway, speaking of Faulkner, let's go make a try on him at level 16 and see how we do. We should be able to brute force him for sure. That's the theory. Now when it comes to this fight, we take the Pidgey down quite easily with a tackle and a 4-hit Comet Punch, one of which crits. We only get thumped by a tackle in exchange. That wasn't too bad. But the Pidgeotto comes out and despite being nearly half our level, it hits us pretty hard with Gust. I do some damage with a Comet Punch and then try to get cute and use some Supersonics, both of which, of course, end up failing. I knew I hated that move for good reason. More Gust attacks down us, and for possibly the first time ever in Gen 2, I think I've just lost to Faulkner. Well damn. I go again. This time, the Pidgey is a free hit, one with tackle and 2 rounds of Comet Punch to down it, during which time it lands 2 tackles to whittle down our HP a bit. Not too badly though, it could be worse. When the Pidgeotto comes out, I just lay into it with a flurry of Comet Punches and it just keeps using Gust, landing blow after blow. Thankfully though, with us on red health, we do eventually manage to get a 4-hit usage of the move and it goes crashing down. That was way too close. Before long, I'm in the bug gym at level 23, ready to tackle Bugsy. Union Cave was pretty rough with the hikers. We've not got any good moves for rock types. There's also another upcoming Pokemon type we're completely ill prepared to face, but I will save that for later. The first attempt versus Bugsy is rough in the sense that we simply can't hit him for enough damage. The Metapod uses a few hardens and our attacks simply start to bounce off it, be it Comet Punch or Tackle. Neither of them is 100% accurate and neither of them are powerful. It should not take this many hits to knock a Metapod out. And then, when the Kakuna comes out next, it's more of the same. It tanks our blows thanks to the use of Harden. I suppose I should be glad that it only starts using Poison Sting towards the end of the fight because getting poisoned would have been bad. Versus the Cypher is when I realise just how outmatched we actually are. We put up a Reflect to block some of the damage from Fury Cutter. That never misses, by the way, as is usually the way, and land a flurry of Comet Punches. And eventually, we do just about manage to get it down to the halfway point health-wise before it finally finishes us off. Maybe I should use the TM for Swift. We learn it naturally in 13 levels time, but that doesn't do as much good now. I try again at level 24 with Swift in our arsenal. Hopefully, it hits a little harder than a slightly wet sponge against a soft wall. This gym battle isn't even our biggest upcoming issue. Our second attempt is doomed to fail when we get poisoned by Kakuna. Metapod is a free hit and that might be the single most terrifying part of it all. It also nails us with String Shot, which doesn't help in the slightest. Kakuna hardens and then poisons us, as previously mentioned, which isn't good going into the Cypher. I was going to Reflect to try and survive longer, but I don't think the extra turn is a good idea. I doubt I can win this at this point, but it doesn't stop me trying. We might get a crit, you never know. We do get it down to about a third of its health, but the toll from Fury Cutter plus poison damage ends us. Fury Cutter, once again, hit every single time. Why is that move never that accurate when I try to use it? So, I head off to grind for a bit. This is the second week in a row that I'm getting walled by the second gym. Nice. I try again at level 27. We 2-hit Metapod this time thanks to a crit Swift, and just to make things that little bit nicer, it misses String Shot. Then he sends Cypher out next, which is massive as it means we can go into that fight unscathed. I put a Reflect up and the Fury Cutters do nothing pretty much as we keep firing Swifts at it like a barrage of golden poker shurikens to try and tear through the big bug. Eventually, and with a huge sigh of relief, just as our Reflect fades, we take it down for the count. Woo! Kakuna is also taken down with Swift after a few hits, though it does poison us. And now for the really horrible one. So, those of you paying attention might realise what the issue will be when we come to face the rival. We have no moves that can directly harm his Ghastly. We cannot learn any moves that will directly harm his Ghastly at this point. So it is the reason I still have Supersonic. I have a feeling that this is going to suck massively. The first attempt on Ghastly is doomed to fail when, thanks to Spite, we run out of PP on Supersonic and have no way of beating it otherwise beyond trying to run through all of our power points on other moves, which, given that we also get paralysed early on by Lick, means that I doubt we have a chance. It does paralyse us, which seems about right in my experience. So yeah, I'm going to keep doing this until we take Ghastly out. I reckon it'll have to hit itself 5 times in confusion by my best estimation. We do get one run immediately after where we get incredible confusion luck on Ghastly, not getting hit at all by it, and it hits itself every single time when it's confused. So I'm feeling pretty smug about that. I cannot believe my luck. The universe then slaps me in the face when Quilava comes out as it hits a crit Ember on the first turn that also burns us, and just like that, we're about to lose. Our attack is pretty bad as it is, and having it cut by the burn means that we can't win. And duly, we go down to a combination of burn damage and repeatedly being set on fire. Anyway, it takes about 4 attempts, but finally we get one run where we only take minor damage versus Ghastly and get an astonishing amount of confusion luck for it to go down without really hurting us or more keyly paralysing us. That's a big relief. Quilava goes down to 4 Swifts, hitting 2 Embers that thankfully don't burn us, which would have been just as bad, if not worse, as paralysis. It also went for Smokescreen, which would have been bad had we not been using Swift, which never misses. So, bad luck trying to blind us, Badger Boy. The Zubat is a 2-hit with Swift, hitting a biting exchange, which we tank and shrug off. Let's move on. I'd like to say it gets easier, but it's Whitney next and the Satanic Cow. I get Thunder Punch and Ice Punch to buff our moveset and give us some type variety and fight a bunch of trainers before entering the Goldenrod Gym. I wonder how long it'll take us to get Cow slammed. Well, I'll be. This was actually a first time win. Clefairy gets hit with Thunder Punch and paralysed. I think that's my status look for the fight, and then fully paralysed as we take it out with Ice Punch. We outspeed Miltank and hit it with Thunder Punch. No paralysis there before it winds up Rollout. 2 hits from Rollout wipe out most of our health, but we can take it down with 3 hits to end this fight. I don't know if I could have done that at a lower level. 3 badges down, let's go. It's pretty calm now until we get to Ecruteak City, and there we have a rival fight and the next gym leader. At least I can hit the rival's ghost type now, so that's something. I hit the Burn Tower rival fight first. His Haunter narrowly survives Dig, which bodes well for the Ghost Gym ahead, and lands a lick, and part of me knows it's just going to paralyse me. I'm wrong though, and we take it down with Ice Punch. Next is Magnemite, who goes down to a single 4-time super effective Dig. The next one out is Quilava, who does have the potential to badly hurt us. It lands an Ember, but 2 digs do take it down before the Zubat is last, and Buck Thunder Punches it into oblivion. I will try the Ghost Gym, but I'm not confident. I think I'll probably have to go and clear the Lighthouse out before I have a reasonable chance of beating Morty. I think his Gengar might be too much for us. Anyway, we one-hit Ghastly with Dig. I kind of saw that coming. The first Haunter also goes down to Dig. Yeah, but we've still got the awkward Gengar. His Ace survives Dig and puts us to sleep with a Hypnosis. Yeah, this is the end. Still, we tank a Dream Eater quite well and wake up the next turn, which I am surprised about before we take it down with another Dig. Well, blow me, I'm surprised at that. The last Haunter goes down to Dig and Thunder Punch. 4 badges down. The next gym I try is the Fighting Gym in Siamwood City. We have a 4 times resistance to fighting, so in theory, this shouldn't be too bad. Plus, we have good special defence, so we'll be able to resist Poliwrath's Surf. That is massive. I always wondered what he was trying to prove when he tosses that boulder onto the statue next to him. Anyway, Primeape is a 1-hit crit with Thunder Punch before his Poliwrath comes out next. It survives a Thunder Punch, but we tank Surf with plenty of health to spare before a second Thunder Punch fries his Tadpole. I don't think I will be able to beat Jasmine at this level, but I am happy to try. I said that about Morty, didn't I? So, I could be wrong. Versus Jasmine, the first Magnemite that comes out is a 1-hit with Dig. I know all about how well Magnemite does versus Dig, thanks to that challenge in Pokemon Emerald a few weeks back. The second Magnemite also goes down to Dig. Now when Steelix comes out, it shrugs off our Dig attack and hits a Rock Throw that wipes out over half our health. I go for an Ice Punch for neutral damage on its less good special defense stat and we freeze it solid. That is absolutely massive. She does potion it eventually when we drop its health low, but it never thaws out and we can keep hitting the Steelix with Ice Punches to eventually floor it, giving us the badge so that we can move on. I should stop making predictions about fights. On the subject of gyms, we've got the Ice one next, and I'm actually pretty confident going into this one. Sure, we are weak against Ice, but all Ice moves were special in this gen, and we've got great special defence. Plus, Price's Pokemon aren't particularly good special attack wise. Seal, up first, is a 1-hit knockout with Thunder Punch, which I feel pretty smug about. Dugong can be tanky, and it's proven again as it survives Thunder Punch, but gets paralysed by the blow. The Affliction stops it from moving, and another Electric Fist takes it down. Last is Piloswine, and I have some experience of this line after last week's challenge run. Ice Punch does just under half, and it counters with a Blizzard, which does decent damage, but nothing we need to worry about. I hit it with a crit Dig that just narrowly avoids knocking it out before he drops the heal on it and we have to go again. Ice Punch, a non-crit Dig, and another Ice Punch rapidly take down the Piloswine, and although we get hit with another Blizzard, we don't ever look like losing. Let's go do the Radio Tower stuff. In fact, while I battle through the Radio Tower, let's have a bit of a chat about what's going on and what's upcoming. The Fire Red with a single Numel video did quite well by my standards, thanks for watching. It jumped over Pokemon Black with a single Axew video to become my second most viewed one. It's still lagging quite a bit of a way behind Silver with a single Meowth though. Black with Swinub had just premiered at the time of writing this, so we'll have to see how that one does. As always, thanks for watching. Over the next 2 weeks, we're going to be tackling Gen 3 with back-to-back challenges, starting with Pokemon Emerald with a single Nincada, so be sure to check that one out. Not being started at the time of writing, so I guess we'll see. I imagine the end game might be quite bad with that. Still battling on with the 3 Let's Plays I've got going on, but it feels like I'm not really making any sort of progress with any of them. Random feeling. I know I'm nearly done with Resident Evil 4. I may be nearly halfway through Let's Go Pikachu, and I genuinely have no idea how much of Jedi Fallen Order I've done. Only time will tell. One thing I was going to throw out there was regarding challenge ideas. If you have any challenge ideas for Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and any of the Gen 6 or Gen 7 games, throw them out there because I'm interested in going for a few more of these down the line. I have a Pokemon Heart Gold challenge lined up over the next couple of months, plus another Pokemon Wide challenge, but still I am very interested in what you have to say. Next, we have the rival fight, so let's go see how we match up here. Despite the fact that we're double the level of some of his Pokemon, we still nearly lose. Golbat isn't a problem, it goes crashing down to Buck's Electrifying Fist as Thunder Punch knocks it out the sky. Magnemite is a one hit with Dig, which too sends it into defeat. Versus Quilava is where it starts to go wrong though, as it survives Dig and hits a smoke screen, which will be massive in having an impact on how the fight plays out. Quilava goes down to Swift, which at least isn't going to miss. I can't pull that trick on Haunter though, and we miss 2 Digs and a Thunder Punch in succession, which is not good, especially as it goes for Curse. Uh-oh, definitely not good. We do hit a blow at the 4th attempt to take Haunter out before Sneasel is last. We hit Swift, but it does less than half, and it puts us nearly on red health with a combination of Feint Attack and Curse damage. I go for Thunder Punch, hit and hope, and thankfully it lands to take it down. Whew, that nearly went badly wrong. Oh hey, incidentally, check this out. I found a shiny Golbat while going through the ice path. Even managed to capture it first time in a Pokeball without weakening it. I've caught a few shinies on these challenges, Shinx in Pearl and Audino in White 2 being the ones that immediately spring to mind. Hats off to shiny hunters, I don't know how those people do it. The Dragon Gym is next, and I think we could struggle here versus Kingdra for sure. It depends on how we do versus the Dragonair. If we can one-hit them with Ice Punch and go into Kingdra with full health, I think we'll probably not do too badly. Hyper Beam has to be a concern though. Our special defence is great. Our physical defence, not so much. Anyway, each of the 3 Dragonair are not much of a concern. We are just about strong enough to take each of them down with just a single use of Ice Punch. We hit them hard and they go crashing down. That's fine, I knew we could do it in theory. One of the gym trainers uses a level 37 Dragonair, same as Claire, and it's good guidelines to how we'll do. Kingdra though, is harder. Buck starts swinging Thunder Punches at it, the blows doing somewhere between a third and a quarter. We hit 2 and she heals it back up to full. 2 more Thunder Punches and she's just landed her second smoke screen, so I switch to Swift for the last 2 turns of the fight. We do get hit with a Hyper Beam, but shrug it off to quite easily finish it with our second Swift. Victory! Before we can enter the Pokemon League, we have the final mandatory rival fight in Victory Road, so let's get this party started. I've got a party of HM slaves, thanks to the road getting here, so it'll be annoying if we lose because they'll have to all faint as well. Sneasel is first, we hit a Thunder Punch, but it survives and hits Screech, not good. We take it out with a Swift. Next is Golbat, who we take out with a Thunder Punch, and that's always an obstacle because of potential confusion. Magneton goes down to a single Dig, which again is good because it has potential for paralysis with Thunder Wave. Typhlosion does hit a Flame Wheel, but it sandwiches 2 Digs and we take it down with those moves for a beatdown. Next is Haunter, who we also knock out with a Dig, and it's a relief after the last time I fought his Haunter. Last is Kadabra, who survives Dig and uses Future Sight, but we can take it out quickly with a Swift. Let's enter the league. Here are our stats as we stand in the Indigo Plateau at level 66. So, our special defence is great, and our speed isn't bad either. Special attack and regular defence are almost at the same stat. Our attack is bad, which isn't good considering I've got 2 moves that use that stat. About to start taking guesses on whether or not I can do it at this level or not. Now! First is Psychic Trainer Will. This would be good if we learned any bug moves. Oh well, I guess we'll just have to try and brute force him with our other super effective moves. We have them for 4 of his 5 Pokemon after all. The first Xatu goes down to Thunder Punch before Jinx is out next, and I don't have a good answer for it. I go for Swift for 2/3 of its health, and it only counters with Double Slap before a second Swift downs it. Next is the second Xatu, who gets 1 hit with Ice Punch. Slowbro is next, and it takes 2 Thunder Punch attacks, but it only goes for Curse, which is handy, before the Exeggutor, Outlast, is just a single hit with Ice Punch. I thought Exeggutor would be tankier than that. Next is Poison Trainer Koga, and I am wary of this fight. Barring his Muck and his Crobat, we don't have any super effective moves for him. This is a brutally nasty fight. First is Ariados, who we hit with Ice Punch for about half its health. It counters with a Giga Drain that does 1 point of damage before we take it down at the second attempt. Crobat survives Thunder Punch and hits Wing Attack for big damage before he heals it. An Ice Punch and a Swift in quick succession take it out. Venomoth gets frozen by Ice Punch, so I take it out with a pair of Swift attacks to save PP on our better moves. Forretress is a 2-hit with Thunder Punch and uses Spikes in retaliation, which isn't going to affect us. Muck is where things turn brutal. I try a dig and it protects itself with Acid Armour, tanking Ice Punch attacks too, and landing a Toxic, which puts us on a timer. When it uses Minimise twice and grows weak, I land a Swift before getting put into red health by Sludge Bomb. But before we go down, we do finish it off with a final Swift. Whew! Next one could be interesting. Sure, we do resist fighting, but Bruno does have coverage of other moves in his arsenal. I think it's very prudent to be worried about what happens if his Machamp lands Rock Slide personally. It's a very real reason to be worried. So, we're not ready for Bruno yet. His Hitmontop lands Quick Attack over and over, and it takes 3 hits to take it down. Yeah, this isn't good. At least Onix is a 1-hit with Ice Punch though. The Onix is definitely not something I'm concerned about. Hitmonchan is tanky enough to survive Thunder Punch and needs 2 Swift attacks to go down as well before the Machamp is next. It does miss 2 Rock Slides thanks to us using Dig for the second one, as well as we land an Ice Punch in hopes of the freeze, but when Rock Slide does land, it just ends us. Grind time then. I don't think it's just Bruno. Karen is liable to be tough too, especially that tanky Umbreon at the start. We are level 75 by the time we rock back up to face Bruno, and I am feeling more confident. This time, Hitmontop is a 2-hit knockout, but still knocks 20 hit points off us with quick attacks. Onix is a 1-hit with Ice Punch. Hitmonchan is still a 3-hit, landing 2 Fire Punches in retaliation that leave us with 3/4 of our health remaining. Next is Machamp, and our first Ice Punch is a crit that puts it on red health before it lands the Rock Slide to leave us in red health, but at least we survived it. 2 more Ice Punches take it down after Bruno heals, the second Ice Punch a very vital crit. Hitmonlee is also a 2-hit knockout, landing only a double kick in retaliation that we do shrug off pretty easily. Remember, we 4 times resist fighting moves. It was close, but we came out the other side. Karen then, let's see how we do against her. I figure that it's going to be bad when Umbreon shrugs off the Ice Punch and lands a Sand Attack. We hit Thunder Punch and 2 Swifts to take it out, but it lands another Sand Attack. This isn't good. I started Swifting to try and save PP, and because I didn't think I could win anyway. Houndoom survives Dig and lands Flamethrower before she heals it. We take it out with a Swift and another Dig. Gengar starts using Spite on us to waste our already running low PP, but we take it out with Dig and Ice Punch, missing a Thunder Punch in the bargain. Our first Ice Punch misses on Murkrow, but it only goes for Feint Attack, and we take it out at the second attempt before Vileplume is last. Thankfully, our Ice Punch lands and we knock it out in 1 hit. Whew! Just Lance left then. I need to use a PP recovery item, which will be a problem if we can't win this. There aren't many in this game for picking up, so I'm a bit limited in my stores. Still, let's see how this goes. Gyarados, as might be expected, is a 1-hit with Thunder Punch. The first Dragonite goes down to an Ice Punch. So far, so good then. The second Dragonite doesn't do any better than the first and gets laid out with another Ice Punch. Aerodactyl is worrying, but not for long as we outspeed and take it down with a single Thunder Punch. Charizard is next, and I am less worried because I think if we don't one-hit it, we will be able to tank a flamethrower thanks to our special defense. Thunder Punch doesn't take it out, but we survive the flamethrower with plenty to spare and decimate it with another electric fist. The last Dragonite goes down to a single crit Ice Punch, and just like that, we've conquered the Pokemon League and our Ledyba gets entered into the Hall of Fame for posterity. We're not done yet though, we've still got 2 fights left before we can call this a win. One versus Blue and one versus Red. Now, let's go with the former. Blue has higher levels than the champion does in this game, and Red has higher levels than Blue. I am concerned about Red's Snorlax, I must say, but that's a problem for the future. Now Blue. I forgot to restore my PP after going through Misty's gym, which isn't good. Pidgeot, up first, goes down to Thunder Punch. Easy. Next is the Rhydon, who gets one hit by our new move, Giga Drain. Next is Arcanine, who survives Dig and then crits us with Flamethrower, which is definitely unhelpful, but we do take it down the next turn with Thunder Punch. Next is Gyarados. I hit a crit Giga Drain to restore some health and it misses Hyper Beam, which would have been very, very bad if it had landed. He heals it and I knock it out with a Thunder Punch. Next is Executor, who survives Ice Punch and hits us with an Egg Bomb before he heals it, but we do take it out at the second attempt with Ice Punch. Last is Alakazam, who we Giga Drain to try and get some health back because I doubt we'll one-hit it, before it lands a Psychic Attack, which we tank quite comfortably before ending it with Thunder Punch. Brilliant. Let's go face Red then. I know that Snorlax is going to be a massive wall. I fight all the way to the Gen 1 protagonist and see how we do. My fears are realised. Sure, we outspeed and one-hit Pikachu with Dig. Normally, that thing wrecks us with Charm, so that's not too bad. We survive a Flamethrower from Charizard, taking it down with 2 Thunder Punches. When Blastoise comes out, we can get some health back from it with a crit Giga Drain before we hit a second Giga Drain and finish it with Thunder Punch. It does land a Blizzard though that cuts deep into our health. Next up is the Snorlax, and we barely do anything to it with Dig. Worse, it's already specially defensively solid and it uses Amnesia. I go for some Ice Punches to try and freeze it, but unfortunately it hits us with some Body Slams, the second of which is a crit to finish us off. I go and grind up to level 100 just to see if this makes any sort of difference. Here are our stats at max level. I still think we are going to struggle to hurt Snorlax. At least our special stats are a bit better now. I make a handful more tries on Red and all of them go with a very similar pattern. One hit Pikachu with Dig. 2 hit Charizard with Thunder Punch, we get hit with Flamethrower. 3 hit Blastoise, get hit with at least 1 Blizzard in the process while getting some health back with Giga Drain. Sometimes Blastoise does at least use Rain Dance, but it is all the more galling when it does land Blizzard through the rain. Plus, there was one occasion where not only did it hit Blizzard through the rain, but it did also get a crit and a freeze on the same turn. Then, all bar that one time we lost to Blastoise with the aforementioned freeze, we lose to Snorlax. There is one occasion when we do get it below half health, but that's about as good as it gets. It just wrecks us too much with Body Slam. So, with that in mind, I think I will call it here. Well, that's ended on a bit of a fizzle. Strange challenge. Very rough in the early game. Smooth sailing for most of it though, but there was a bit of a sticky patch around Bruno. Then, a morbidly overweight brick wall right at the end. Oh well, these things happen. Fun though. Hope you enjoyed, as always. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button. It is good for the YouTube algorithm by all accounts. Join me again this time next week for another Pokemon challenge as we answer the question of whether or not I can beat Pokemon Emerald with a single Nincada. That one could be interesting in the region with too much water. As always, if you have any ideas for challenges, drop them in the comments section below or on Twitter or my Discord, links being in the description below. Remember what I said about Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Gen 6 and Gen 7 too. So, what's new with me? Hopefully, I survived long enough to post this video without melting. In England, on the time of writing and recording this voiceover, it's estimated that it's going to be hotter temperatures than in India or in Ethiopia. So, that's unpleasant considering I've got to sleep today. I might be getting some news later on in the week, so I guess we'll have to see what happens. Just get a bit more gaming in, get a bit more recording in. It's a little over a year since I started doing this on YouTube, and I really don't know what I expected to have happened by now. But what I will say is, thanks to each and every one of you that has watched, that has liked, that has commented and subscribed over the last 365 days. It means a lot. I've come a long way since I started doing these challenges. Never mind, since I started making stuff for this channel. It's good to reminisce. Anyway, I think it's just about time to call it a day. Thanks again, folks. This has been Once and Future Gamer, and this has been Pokemon Silver with a single Ledyba. Take care, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye now. So long.